Well, greetings again, Blade fans and TwoSun aficionados. We have another older classic TwoSun model for you today, the TS102. And this is a night-morning design. Been out there for a few years, but you don't see it get much airtime, so here we are. And I've been encouraged to show more TwoSun knives from the collection, so we're moving on. The TwoSun TS102 is a smaller bladed knife. We're going to get a good look at it in a minute, but first some measurements. Since the measurements I've been getting from TwoSun are not always the most accurate, it's a shade under 7.5 inches overall. It is 3 1/8 blade length with a 3-inch cutting edge because we have a nice finger choil kind of blended in there. And let's see what we got for blade stock in millimeters. Pretty thick, and it's coming in right at about 4 millimeters, 3.9, with a handle thickness of a little over 1/2 inch, 0.54. And a weight for this little guy of 3.6 ounces. Relative lightweight. Look at the art of this knife. Milled titanium handles. Ceramic ball inserted in the center of that semicircular design pattern. Milled pattern right up through here. A little different in there. We got the same ceramic ball embedded on the locking bar side and embedded in the clip, making for very slick in and out. A very artsy clip, curving down, mounted pretty high, almost a total deep carry on this guy. Centered blade, and what do we got for action? Oh, it's a little stiff. Yes, it is. I was doing better before. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes the angle that I'm holding it at makes it a little more difficult to open. Got a handle that narrows down near the butt. Finger groove right there where the liner is. Got a recessed cutout here that gives you good access to the locking bar. Hardened steel insert. And that's actually a hardened steel insert that you can see. It's not hiding on the other side of the locking bar. Very interesting. Earlier design. And we've got kind of a tri-wing design there on the pivot, T8, and plain on the other side. Interesting blade shape. TwoSun there. And there's your night morning design logo right there. interesting millwork on almost a full backspacer. Wouldn't call it jimping really. More of a kind of a waffle design or series of squares. And I'm going to point out one little issue with this blade. If you have it, you will know, is that the tip, the point, rides very close to the surface of the handle. That's picking up my finger right there. That will stick your finger. If you happen to slide up there with your finger or your thumb, it's gonna bite you. If you're careful, you keep it in the pocket. It's right hand only, tip up carrying. That tip's going to be back at the back side of your pocket. And you know, as you withdraw it, hopefully it's not going to pick up on any fabric or thread or what have you. But there's a definite improvement in engineering that could happen with this one. I don't think they're still making the 102. But if they are, they may have already corrected that. It's kind of a too bad thing on a otherwise perfect knife. And if you don't carry it a lot and you don't ride your fingers along that portion of the blade too often, you should be in pretty good shape. I must have been pressing on the bar before. It's a lot easier now. Maybe it's just a little, needs a little love, you know. Been put away for too long. Really nice thing they did with the finger choil. You notice even at the base of the grind there, which is quite nice, they continued that flat spot onto the blade a little bit, so you actually do have a full spot for your finger to choke up. This knife is also great in use in this sort of a position for cutting, right, with the point. It's got almost 4mm stock, so they keep that thickness very nicely out to the tip. You still have a very fine working tip, not overly thin. As you can see, that thickness just flows right out there. Beautiful knife. I mean, it is an artistically done blade. Do a quick comparison here with Griptilian. Griptilian is going to be definitely a larger knife by a fair amount. And do a Benchmade Freak. You can see the Freak's even larger. No, it's not a large knife, a little over a 3-inch blade. But interesting, and likely no longer being manufactured to the best of my knowledge. My good friend Andy from Hawaii Knife and Gear can certainly comment here if he knows otherwise. But to the best of my knowledge, the 102 is not being manufactured. But nonetheless, an interesting knife with some great style points. I do hope you enjoyed this. Please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. This Old Sword, signing out.